Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 2 of Campus Debates. My name is Mercy Vugutsa, a debater at heart, a judge occasionally, and from tonight, I will be your host. So, what is Campus Debates, you might ask? It's a show where intellectuals come together to discuss important issues that exist in society, issues that may affect you, your parents, or literally anybody that you know. And why is Campus Debates so great? It's because a group of university students come together to discuss these issues and bring them closer to you. Here. So, what exactly do we have for you today? From Side Proposition, we have the team from Kenya School of Law here to present the debate from Side Proposition. And from Side Opposition, we have the team from Tangaza University here to oppose the motion before us today. Before we get on to the judges, the speakers could give us a brief introduction about themselves. They could introduce themselves. Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Serena. I'm a student at the Kenya School of Law. I'm a debater and an artist.
My name is Oiro Caleb. I'm a student at the Kenya School of Law. I'm a blogger, I'm a law student, and I'm a debater at heart.
As you have heard from Side Proposition, they are debaters, artists, content creators, and jacks of all trades. Because of that, they can have their seats. From Side Opposition.
Hello. I'm David Onyango from Tangaza University. I'm a debater and I love politics. Thank you.
I'm Alexander Buliba, Mwalimu wa Maths. So please, when you come here, don't say Mwalimu wa Maths. I will be angry. I'm a debater. I love drama. And I love walking around, seeing how people, different cultures in Kenya. So also go to Turkana and see what's happening in Turkana. Thank you.
And from Side Opposition, we have a politician at heart and also a mathematician, as well as a culture activist. So because of that, we are waiting to see what Side Opposition has for us in this debate. Now, let's move on to our esteemed judges, and I'll invite our award-winning judge, I don't know how many tournaments, maybe 5 or 6, to start the introduction for the judges.
Hello. Hi. You give me the smiles. Hi. All right, this is Season 2 of Campus Debates, and it's always a delight to be in a room where great minds connect. In front of me, I see great speakers who seem to have pregnant points waiting to be delivered, and I hope on this stage today, new debaters are going to be born. Joining me on the panelists today, we have Teresa Sandimu and James Bellion, who I'll let them introduce themselves and tell us more of what they do, just like the debaters did.
Hello, everyone. I'm Terry Sandimu, an adjudicator from the Catholic University of Eastern Africa, a lover of music and debates. I'm hoping for a creative, constructive, and thought-provoking discourse. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is James Biegon, a debater, a judge, I'm expecting a mind-blowing and a creative session in front of us. I can see our speakers are well informed and well ready to begin the session. I'm expecting a creative and interactive session. Thank you.
According to the judges, they have great expectations, and according to our famous chair, the debaters are pregnant with points, and maybe they will deliver them for us before. So, right on to the debate. What motion do we have before us? The motion for this round reads, this House supports a norm where parents are financially transparent to their children. Would you like to know your parents' finances or not? Now, let us hear from Side Proposition with the first speaker from Kenya School of Law. Here.
I am really proud to be proposing this motion. This House supports a norm where parents are financially transparent to their children. So panel, I will start this debate by giving a few definitions of the words that have been mentioned in this motion: norm, finances, and transparency. So what is norm? Norm, I can use it to define normal or a normalcy. Finances, these are money matters. Transparency is something that is not hidden and has been brought out to the open. So, panel, this is something I would want you to keep in mind, is that we are discussing how we should let our children as parents get to know how we use our finances, give them more information about it, and we are actually not giving them that money for their own use. So I would love to start by giving what are these financial informations that we should be giving our children. So one is how much is earned. So I don't want to say necessarily we're supposed to tell our children how much we get to earn, but it would be good to give them a slight approximate of how much it's earned so that they can know that as parents we work on a budget, and it might give them more understanding of when we say yes to a couple of things and when we say no to a couple of things. So another thing is we should also, part of the financial information we should be giving is the financial allocation. To be specific, we're talking about rent. How much are we paying for rent? How much are we paying for school fees, for food, for entertainment, and all that? So it would be good to let our children get informed on how much we allocate specific amounts of money. Thirdly is budget. It would be really important as children for them to know that we work on a budget, because I'm sure for parents they can actually testify on how it would be really difficult at times where you are working on a budget and your children want this and this and this. So at least giving them the financial information, it's going to give them understanding of this year we work on a budget. This is the amount of money we plan to spend on you people, regards to school fees and regards to food, housing, and all that. So something else I want to also add onto this is what is the advantage of telling our children or giving information about our financial matters. So one of the things is accountability. So we, as parents, when we have given you money, it would be good for you to account, to tell us this and this is how much has been used. And with that, you are able to actually control the budget. You do not overspend when you're not planning to overspend. And this is actually helping in saving as well. So another thing is relationship based on transparency. As parents, when they're transparent to their children about the financial matters, there's this relationship of we are open to let you as children get to know this and this is the amount of money that is spent from this and that. And with that, we create a relationship of where we are even closer to even talk about more personal information. Second thing is that our children get to learn. So what do they actually get to learn? With our children, what happens is our children get to learn. What do they get to learn? They get to learn on building up on finances. And to be specific, I want to focus on investments. It would be good as children to get to know that from an early age, for them to get to know that they can invest in a particular place, and this amount of money that they have invested, it can help them either in their future or where they'll have a place where they know they are earning money. And let's not confuse investment and savings. So investment is where we're going to talk about this. Children will know there's a place where we have money and we have allocated and we've used money, and it, from whatever we have done, it's generating money to help us as well. And fourthly, I want to talk about savings. As parents, I am 100% sure they always have a budget and they know how much they want to save for specific projects. And giving this financial information to the children, it will open up their mind on how they should not be spending everything, but at least be able to save some money as well. So what are the long-term effects of this financial information that is given to the children? So one, I want to talk about the understanding. I had spoken about the bond and the relationship that is brought up when the parents get to talk to the children about this, and this is the amount of money that we use, and there's that personal relationship that is built. So the long-term effect of this is that there'll be an understanding. When at least your children will get to know when you say no, there's a reason as to why you've said no. And something else, also with this, the children are able to be patient as well. So I believe that it would be really good that this is actually normalized as well. So one of the importance I want to specify is it attracts investments as well. So we spoke about, I want to expound a little bit on this investment. So the investment itself, as parents, they can either get to have allocated amount of money and they decide they're going to spend it to either build a house or actually an apartment. And with that investment, they know they're going to be generating more money. So with this set out examples, the children as well will be able to get to find that as a better way than always spending and not having account for money. So I am Serena, and those are my points.
We have heard from side proposition, and now we welcome the first speaker from opposition side, Tangaza University, to begin their speech.
All right, thank you. My name is David Onyango from opposition side, and I'm here to oppose the motion we say that this House support a norm where parents are financially transparent to their children. Before I give out my points, I would like to go to the proposing side and to tell you that this particular theme is not about advantages and disadvantages, but it's all about the ethical considerations and the values we are going to implant to our children as they grow. So to begin my submission, what do we expect when we be transparent to our children in terms of our monetary value? Why should we do this? And after knowing how is it helpful to our children by showing them our net worth or showing them the accountability of what we do with this particular money. What I can say as in a family, a parent and the children, transparency and accountability, we must leave it to secretaries. If you want to know about the transparency, give it to employer secretary to look after this, but not to your children. Why are we saying this? If you want to be that much transparent to your children on how you spend your money and the total amount of money you have in your bank, this thing is going to hinder the creativity and critical thinking of your children. They will know very much that my dad has millions and millions of money in the bank, and we don't have to work hard. We must not think above to get more money for ourselves, because we understand that my dad is rich. But if you look at it in both perspectives, because there is the most vulnerable people and the rich people. If I'm poor, I have little money in my bank, and I tell my child that I don't have money, I only have 50 shillings as my child, what will this bring to my child? You will start blaming and mistrusting the parent that why was I born in this particular family? You better decide to prevent this child from being emotionally disturbed, because we know that my father is very poor and cannot manage me. And that's now one of the problems we will encounter these children by showing them our financial transparency. If you know you are poor or you are rich, keep it among yourselves as the couples, but not to the children. Then again, this may lead to stress versus discrimination. This one goes majorly to the poor sector. As I've just said, I've been very much stressful, and I will be discriminating my parents for not working hard in their earlier future to make sure that I was at least somewhere as a student. And again, expectation, privacy, and autonomy. As a parent, if you express your children to your financial mobility, this one brings about autonomy. And most importantly, privacy. You shall have not protected your things. And you know the kind of country we are and the kind of sanctuary we are nowadays, where we speak about monkey see, monkey do, but the way monkey do it is very extraordinary. I get to know that you have total amount of this particular money in your bank. And me as a student, that awkward student, weird student, or a child, who have known that you are very rich, will find a way on how to eliminate you as a parent, I tell you. If you expose your monetary value to your children, they will one day come for you. You will always be suffering from your mental issues, because they will be expecting you to die so that they inherit this particular money in future. So that one, to work for your privacy, you must understand that you should not expose your financial transparency to these particular students. Then most importantly, what we have to check is about the values and the hard work about these students. We are creating an economy where students should be more active and even productive more than their parents. But if you confine them into what you have as a person, or you want to show them how things happen, they will relax. They will have the brain of relaxing. So the member of opposition proposition will tell us, why must we just allow these people to follow us like to follow our accountability as parents? when these are things we worked for ourselves as the couples? Why must we make them understand these particular finances, how we use them? And yes, we are responsible and we are making sure that they live and we provide all the basic needs for them. Why must we also engage them in knowing the transparency of our particular monetary? Thank you.
So, side proposition tells us that, you know what, we need transparency with our parents, right? But side opposition has told you transparency can lead to mistrust and maybe lazy people in and of themselves. So, we'll be going on a short commercial break. Do not touch that dial. Do not touch that button. We will be back shortly with an extension from side proposition. Thank you so much for not touching that dial. This is season 2 of Campus Debates, and we're here to continue with the arguments from side proposition, Kenya School of Law. Hear, hear.
Okay, before I begin, I'd like to rebut everything that has been said by the opening. One, he speaks about the debate being about ethical consideration with the outcome of financial transparency. That's the main thing that he says that should be considered in such a debate. Note that what he has only projected onto this debate is the disadvantages of what will be the outcome of financial literacy, as he has put it, or more so, what will be the outcome of a parent telling, informing the child if he's rich or poor. It's not even about financial literacy. From what he has produced, he has failed to understand the meaning of financial literacy. Financial literacy is about telling the child, exposing the child to the budget that you're going to make, to the plans that you're going to do, to what are you going to use the money and the salary that you earn. It's not about how much you earn, it's not about how much you pocket at the end of the month. Note, there is a big difference between what we are arguing in terms of the debate with what he has produced. He has said that the issues of financial transparency should be given to your secretary, not your child. Note that your secretary will not be with you at the end of the month when you require fee, or when you require food to eat, or when you require clothes to wear. Your secretary will only be with you in the office when there are budget allocation for the offices, for office materials. So whatever he has produced is such a fiat that cannot even stand out in this debate. What do we produce to you? First of all, I'm going to give you the history of the upbringing of an African child. The African child was brought up to abide by rules, respect, and following of religion. Nowhere in this context did the parents teach these children about any financial literacy. They were only taught about how to follow the rules that were set. They were only taught about how to abide by certain norms that has been set out in the society. But what we are trying to inculcate in the child, in the brain of a child, is that one, there is more to life than just rules. There are things that needs to be planned. There are bills that needs to be paid. And if this can only be achieved in our world. Why? Because we are actually teaching this child of responsibility. As my partner has said, we are going to be teaching three main things. One, how much is earned. Two, how much you spend. And three, how much is budgeted. These are the three principles that we are going to confine ourselves into this debate, not whatever that he has said. He has said that if you are poor, if you are rich, that the child will form some kind of malicious plot of killing the parent or taking him to the grave before his time. Not that panel. We are not speaking, if your child is a bad person, is a bad person. And that cannot change in the long run. But if your child is a good person, such a child will not form this kind of malicious thought. And secondly, we are actually educating them on how to be accountable in the future, on how they are going to invest on on the little that we earn. Let's take, for example, the example that he had given that if you are poor, the child is going to blame the parent. Yes, the child might blame the parent of not working hard in the past, but he's going to use this money, the little that has been earned, hand by the parent to actually invest so that he may not be like this parent. So in the long run, whatever that they are saying will actually be practical. In our world, because the child is going to better their standards of living, which cannot be found in their world. What is the dangers of their world in totality? One, children do not learn how to save for their futures, because according to their world, the people from their world especially will always have the mentality that life begins at 40, whereby they have overspent, they have wasted their youth, and they have not saved at all. So that in their 40s, when they have families, they do not have the financial literacy that they were required to have during their childhood. So two, it will lead to bad choices that the youths of today make, whereby they will always overspend in vanity, in luxury, and in alcoholism, which will only be found in the world. Unlike in our world, whereby we have taught a child on how to save, on how to work hard for what he wants or what she wants. So in the long and thirdly, we are actually going to create some kind of relationship with our parents, because the parent can actually let you in some key financial matters. Hence, the child will always feel that he is always regarded as part of the family. Like in their world, this can never be achieved in whatsoever. And lastly, it's going to reduce the amount of toxicity when it comes to financial matters, because taking the example of the African setup, whereby a child was taught by the parent, let's say, for example, a mother, that your father is a drunk. The child will actually know that, yes, my father is a drunk, but he actually pays my fees, he actually gives me a roof over my head, he actually promotes all these things. So even if the parent has some vices, we actually foster other things that cannot be found in their world. If they can prove how they can still achieve these benefits in their world from their own side, then we'll have a crack on their case. But this cannot be defended in their world. Thank you, and from side of proposition, proud to propose.
We have heard the final proposer from KSL. Now we invite the second opposer from Tangaza University. Here.
Before I start, my name is Alexander Buliba, as I had said, and I will send greetings home to my mom, my brothers, and all my aunts. There is an old saying that says, God made man, and man made money, and money made man run crazy. To this side proposers, they're really trying to lie to us. And I don't like being lied. So I will start with the first thing they said about transparency and allocation of budget and relationship and accountability. I will talk about those three in a very fast before I start supporting my colleague. First thing, when you talk about transparency, I will just ask you a question. To what extent should this kid know the amount that I'm earning or the actual values of our budget? What's the need of schools? That's the question I want them, first of all, to answer. If I'm sending my child to a school, I'm expecting that child will learn how to budget in that school. So why should I now waste my time to give my financial budget to this kid? There's no need for me to take that kid to school if I'm giving them the financial budget. Secondly, if you look at our new generation, people are really drunk. Why? They already know their parents are earning, so they are not going even to school. I told you I'm a teacher. I was once teaching a school whereby if you cane a child for just taking bang, the parent will come with a Range Rover and the kid will tell you, my parent has money, so you can do me nothing. What are we creating? Illiteracy of education. We are killing our system by even telling this kid that I can pay you a fee. Show them that you cannot pay that fee for them to work hard. Our parents struggled for us to survive. Why should we as parents give these people our budget so that they can be weak? Remember one thing. The more you give information, the more you are creating them to be lazy. Laziness will be created by this budgeting. So stop telling us giving them their budget. How will you create a relationship? I'll take a period. Relationships can only you can only create them by showing them love, affection, and other things, by taking them out those other activities. Not telling them, my son, we budgeted for 50,000. So this month, we don't have money. No. What of a poor person who is working in Mjengo? Will you go tell their son that, my son, I only received 3,000 shillings that I'm budgeting to pay your fee 1,000. 1,000 for food. 1,000 for maybe transport and everything. This child will grow having low self-esteem. This child will grow having low self-esteem due to he knows that the parent cannot afford everything. And we want to create a world where this child knows hard work pays. These days we are creating children who even don't know what is the meaning of hard work. They only know success comes through taking illegal substances. That's why you look at TV, you see people dying for no good reason. And if you really read news, you'll find that a lot of kids are the ones dying. There's a news that was showing that women, their bodies were being cut. Why? They go for easy things, easy money for them to achieve their goal. This is because they have already seen that our parents are not able to achieve our goals. So let's go to this because they are already given the budget. They know my parent can only earn until this point. So this issue of budgeting and accountability, just leave it to you and your partner. You struggled for this money, my friend. You never came from, it never rained from heaven. You struggled for it. You went to education. You were caned by teachers. You were done everything so that you can receive this money. Right now, these kids of these days are not caned in school. At home, they are told to go sit at the corner for a mistake they have done. What are we doing? We are only killing this system. Let's give these people the only thing that they require, education. Education will make these people realize their end goal. Secondly, they talked about learning, saving, and investment. I will repeat to them. Answer to me, what is the need of education? Now to continue to my point where my brother talked about stress and discomfort. Let me tell you one thing. Immediately start giving your budgeting, you are going to build a house. Humans learn best by doing. And our kids are exposed to a lot of events that they even know you can eliminate your father so that you can earn what is in the will. And there immediately you will create something known as will war, whereby if there are kids that you have like 5 kids, you'll find that these kids will want everyone to get his share, and that person will want to get much than the other. So immediately you will create a war between even the kids. Remember, first thing, even we parents, as parents, we do our mistake is, you might be even having a side chick somewhere who has a kid. Immediately they realize you are dead. They will come to fight for that money. So let's try to educate our kids to be responsible by taking them to school and showing them a different affections, not giving them our budget of our money. Our money is our money. Their work is to go to school, read, and come back with good results. Not these issues of them telling me, Daddy, I want to go to Mumias. I want to go to Saravo. I want to go to China. To do what, my friend?
We have gotten amazing arguments from side proposition and from side opposition. We will allow them an opportunity to ask a question from each side. From side opposition, proposition, one question, and from side opposition, one question, and room for them to respond. So side proposition, what is your question to opposition?
They have said that we should take kids through the education system for them to learn about financial literacy. Now, do they think that telling them about the budget and how we are going to allocate money is a financial literacy that will prove to be more practical enough according to what they have said themselves?
Thank you for that question. Side opposition, one question to proposition.
To what extent should this child know your financial transparency? To what extent?
With that, we allow side proposition to respond first, then side opposition. Here.
Okay, when my partner started her debate, she said that we are going to measure in 3 things through the financial literacy. 1, how much money is earned. 2, how much do we spend? And 3, how much is budgeted for? So the extent that we are going to make them learn is not necessarily about how poor we are or how rich we are. It's about how much money is earned and how much is budgeted within the month, and what are the constraints and how are we protected throughout the month. Let's say, for example, I earn 30,000 shillings or how I earn 100,000 shillings. We can tell them this month we have budgeted this for fee, this for your expenditure, this and this and this. So that the child in the back of his mind or in the back of her mind knows that if I overspend or if I misuse this, I'll not have any more. And if the parent can actually create this discipline, then everything that you are saying in terms of them trying to kill a parent for the purpose of inheriting wealth or them dropping out of school will not actually be seen, because they will actually save. And if they were to drop out of school, they will actually create a life for themselves, because they have actually saved the money that they have earned. Because even if you defend education system, the education system have proved not to be effective today, because you'll study for 7 years and still don't have the right proper training. But if they can actually get this practically with how much is saved, and this becomes a normalcy in their normal course of business, then they can actually create a life better for them. So whatever fiat that you are trying to push does not stand.
Thank you for, that was the most weakest question I've ever been asked. And I will answer it with the most easiest answer. I will give you an example of ourselves. We earn help of around 30,000. But what we use it for is party. So ourself, our personal identity is not seen in that help. So we cannot learn from our mistake. So even if your parent can tell you that save, and you don't have that mentality, you will never save. That's the first thing. Secondly, education has proven not to fail. Humans are the ones who are proving to fail. Why am I saying that? You are taught in the university and every system how to be productive. But when you get outside here, because you have already been given the budget by your father or your mother, you expect your mother to still support you, pay rent, pay steward. And the money you had saved, youths, immediately they reach 18, one thing, they join groups. Those groups have different activities. Let's appreciate our group that is a debate group. There we come here, we waste the money that our parents had told us to maybe use for eating to come here for transport. Not so. But in their world, their kids will use that money for other different activity. Education to us has helped us to reach here. But in their world, education, he has already said that even if the kid drops to school, he will use the money for what? For other activities. Which activities, my friends? Which activities? Give us a clear identification of your work. Don't just give us a murmuring and everything else. Thank you.
We have heard from the speakers and given them an opportunity to defend themselves with a question each. Did they sway you? Did they not? Judges, did they sway you? Did they not? Feel free to comment in the comment section on X, and also with the hashtag Campus Debates, and also WhatsApp us on the number 0759 434389. 0759 434389. Before we get a response from our judges, we'll be going on a short break. You could take some pop. To season 2 of Campus Debates. What has happened in the last 30 minutes of this show is basically understanding from side proposition and side opposition, should we allow our parents to show us their finances or how they use their finances, ideally? So we have received arguments from side proposition and opposition, and we sure hope the judges have been swayed and they can finally tell us who wins the debate or who loses the debate. But before they do, we have something new for season 2. What does season 2 look like? We have teams competing for winning points. So if you win this debate, you get 3 points. If you lose the debate, you get 1 point. But don't forget or do not lose hope. If you also are a really good speaker, you get very good speaker scores, which rise you above the tab and help you to win the rounds ideally. So every single team would have 2 rounds to fight for 6 points. If you don't get 6 points and you're at the bottom of the tab, you get to fight for your life as well and get to debate against each other and find a way to rise above the tab. With that explanation for how this season looks like, we'll invite the judges to give us the feedback from this particular round, and we will begin with Terry Sandimu to speak about the proposition team.
Thank you so much, Marcy. Hi, everyone, once again. I'll be giving feedback on the proposition side, so let's get into it. First speaker, you really understood your role. You gave the definition of terms really well, which helped us get an understanding of the motion and also shows us that you understood the motion yourself. So that was well done. Where we're getting a problem is that there was a clash between the first speaker and the second speaker. The first speaker told us that the parents are dispensing this financial knowledge just so that the kids know how much is being earned, how much is being spent, and the budget here. But then the second speaker came in and talked about overspending. So the question is, what money is being spent here? Because you clearly stated that the information is just for the knowledge, but not for the expenditure. So we needed your points to marry each other, of which there was a lack in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. We'll now invite James to also speak on the opposition side.
Well, the opposition had really strong points that created some sense of real life. For example, what he said, that this showing a student or a kid your financial statement or financial literacy, educating the kid on your finances and showing him will lead to lack of hard work, and also might also lead to killing of a parent, which is not the case what we want to see in a society. So the points were well drawn, and I think haven't met any shortcomings in your points. Thank you.
Thank you, James, for that feedback. And now finally to the moment everyone has been waiting for. Does side opposition or side proposition win this debate? We welcome Brian Mwindi to give us the feedback.
All right, so before I get into the rankings, let's just delve into what the motion required and what exactly were we talking about here. So the motion in itself read that this House supports a norm where parents are financially transparent to their children. So this kind of motion, if you look at it, it spells out a world and a status quo where parents at this very juncture are not open with their finances to their kids. So the ball of contention becomes, should there be that line of transparency? Do I, as a father, need to tell my kid that this is exactly how much I'm earning? And with that said, let me delve into what exactly you guys brought into the debate and how well you balance out your points and who exactly takes on the debate. So from side proposition, we get a very interesting kind of case structure where we give us the definition of terms. But remember, back to the motion, there's a world children. I like the way you define the normalcy, finances, transparency, and all those kind of definitions that the motion did require. But this aspect of children, you left it hanging, and that's why the debate went in the way it went. How old is a kid that you're debating this debate? Is it a 1-year kid? Is it a 15-year-old kid? Is it an under 18? With that kind of demographic, it will be easier for us to niche down on what kind of intellectual capacity of these kids that they have in terms of understanding the case structure that you have in terms of budgetary, because I don't get whereby my kid who is 6 months old, my kids with 3 years old can be able to understand how to budget a 5 million kind of payroll. With that kind of lack in your case structure, we found it problematic. But nonetheless, without going to what Terry said in terms of your case construction and how much it was inconsistent regarding the fact that you have to state that this kind of budget is just for information purposes and the kid will not touch the money. But again, for you, Caleb, you come in and say that there will be overspending. What money is going to be overspent here with the kid not touching the money? There was that logical inconsistency. Case from side proposition was majorly on the intensity of harm. I like the way you guys did point out that the power of information that this kind of budgetary allocation do have to these kids. One, they may come for their parents' head verbally, because that is exactly what you did present in this debate. And there will be so many kind of disastrous society. And I like the way you did counterfact what the premise of side proposition was, and in terms of like, instead of you being the primary person who is telling them how to budget, there's schools for that. And with that kind of logic alone, it was easy enough for you to weigh them on that kind of a scale. So the work of side opposition was to stop you guys from winning, and they successfully did it. With that said and done, the 3 points goes to Tangaza University.
Now, I know you from home are wondering which team won, which team lost. It's not necessarily really clear. But to clarify everything up, Tangaza was able to win this round, and therefore they were able to garner 3 points from the debate. And for KSL, they've not entirely lost. Instead of getting 0 points, they have 1 point from this debate and hopefully good speaker scores to help them win this particular round. Before we close off this particular show, we would like to invite Side Proposition to answer a few questions to help you get to know them better. So, Side Proposition, if you had one name written on your shirt for an entire year, what name would that be?
Probably Okaluoro Okadogchien, which means no retreat, not surrender.
So he could not find one word to summarize no retreat, no surrender, so he thought of a Luo name?
Yes.
Yes, so that is the name he would go for. From Side Opposition?
A simple name, just Alpha. I like the sound of the name Alpha, so I just write Alpha.
From Side Opposition, Alpha is the name, and because of that, maybe that's why they won the debate. But anyway, thank you so much for staying on the show with us. This was Campus Debate Season 2. I hope you enjoyed the arguments and the presentations from the 2 universities that were on set.